This is again 3P African Educators. So this is our 7th webinar and we are live. I'm co-hosting with Sylivia Biamkama and Tewa Philips. This is the manager, 3P Nakivare Addiction and Mental Health Team. That is our new name. So today our topic is sharing is growing. And as you understand, the 3 principles was uncovered by student banks as they came to expand from Uganda and settlement to move to different countries, which is DRC, Congo, Kenya, and other countries. So we are very happy to have you today, and let's have fun into what we shall be sharing in our topic, as we are saying, sharing is growing. So we'll go ahead and we'll welcome Sylvia also herself. Then we shall move into sharing our stories as it is today. Thank you. Welcome, Sylvia.
Thank you, Philips. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you once again on our 7th webinar. I'm happy to have all of you here and grateful to see new faces around. That is so encouraging and that's so good. Thank you for joining us if it's your first time to be with us on the webinar and also on Facebook. If it's your first time joining on Facebook, you're also most welcome. Yeah, as my co-host Philips introduced, this is the 3P African Educators webinars. So we're happy to have all of you. So I am Biamkama Sylvia Kagoda, but I'm eager to listen to each of your stories as you are growing in your different directions concerning 3Ps. Yeah, so let us have fun. Just like Philip said, it's all about sharing and having fun and experiences and learning more and more. So once again, you're all most welcome and please just enjoy the show and yeah, feel at peace. Amen. Back to you, Philips.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sylvia. That is so nice. Have you again back from your malaria recovery last time. So I will go ahead and share my story on how I have grown, or seeing my clients grow, seeing the refugees change from what we are sharing to them. Because if someone has changed from what he has been thinking, from what has been living, that's also growing. So I will first share the story of the client I just met recently. This is a client who is the mother. She's around 80 years. She's 80 years. So she came into Nakivale from Congo. So reaching in here in Nakivale, she came with the daughter of around 25 years. So they have been living together for long here in camp. So when we started now sharing about 3 principles in Nakivale, of course, it has now moved from one village to other as we have formed different groups. We have got a team that we are sharing with of 3 gentlemen that are moving village to village, sharing about love, sharing about on how they have been experiencing life and how they are living today. So when we have been moving into different villages, now this mother came along her, and she had to share to us on how she's feeling. So one of the stories she was sharing to us was the bad living of Congo, of her home country, and how she came into Nakivale and how she's living with the daughter. But after reaching in Nakivale, now the daughter resorted to drinking alcohol. So from now drinking alcohol, the old mother was now distorted, was now disturbed at home because of the young lady that started drinking alcohol. So through this, the lady now also started now hating herself because of the condition that maybe the daughter is not following what she's sharing to her. So the lady started feeling so bad at home that she even developed hypertension. She could not even eat. She could not even drink. Now, from what she had from Congo, Now she added on what the daughter was living, like in a bad situation. So she started feeling so bad in that situation. So when she came into office, she narrated all these sorts of stories on how she was living bad, on how the daughter was harassing her, on how the environment is very bad in Nakivale, that she could even die in Nakivale because of bad environment, because of a bad condition, that the daughter that she's no longer controlling her daughter. But now all of this started sharing with her how she should start forgiving herself. I told her she should first of all forgive herself, first of all love herself, not overthinking of what was happening before, but only to live within now, to understand that life is neutral. So by sharing with her, she now started changing gradually. She could go home and she find out the daughter is just there seated, then they start quarreling. Daughter is drunk, the mother is not drunk, but because the mother is now living hopeless, they started quarreling. So when now they started coming to office, we started sharing to them about three principles, about love, about the experiences on how we are seeing life, about sharing how life is. If they start living in that hardship themselves, then they cannot get a solution themselves. So it was so much impressive that the extent when now the daughter started seeing the mother is now handling her at a pace of a quiet mind. Even if she comes from drinking alcohol, she's now quarreling or making noise at home, then the mother could just keep quiet until now the daughter had to cope that mechanism that the mother was using. Now also the daughter started visiting us at office. We started sharing, and they are now growing very well. They are now loving themselves, and they are even started sharing to other people in the villages. So with this, we have seen how sharing is so powerful. If the mother could not come to office and share to us how she's feeling, and share to us how the daughter is feeling, and we also share the love that we have from three principles, and we also share our understanding of love, the forgiveness nature of how we should be living, then they could just live in a trap, live without even forgiving. So I'm happy that through sharing that the mother gave to us, and through sharing that we came to do, we have grown together. When we are sharing to her, we are also growing. When she's sharing to us, the solution has been made. So now they are living better into their family, despite of other challenges, but they have grown now in their understanding. Their consciousness have grown through what we are sharing to them. So I'm very happy that three principles, we have been able to do this, and it is not from only this mother, but with different villages. We are sharing this, and it is helping people. So I thank you so much, and we shall go ahead into sharing. And at the end of this, we shall still welcome more questions, and it will be an interactive discussion. So I'm happy, and I hope you have got my story on how sharing has impacted many people in Nakivale, with this someone who has been over drinking alcohol, now coming to quiet her mind, now coming to listen her mother, and they are now living peaceful in the camp. Thank you so much. I will invite you, Sylvia, maybe if you have something to share, then we shall welcome more from audience.
Wow, thank you so much, Philip. That was an interesting story to learn from. It shows us the power of sharing. Yeah, so sharing is growing. And other words, you can say like when you share, you notify or you inform people about something new, and you also learn. So when you share, you learn more and you teach others something new to learn or to do. Yeah, so sharing is always good. I also have a story based in my community, and this story, Harry wrote about it, yeah, in one of his books. So I'm going to to also narrate it to you. So guys, it's all about sharing. So in the community where I work from, we have an issue, like we have a lot of raping. Young girls are raped, like, I don't know, each day. Yeah, so that's not something so good, but it really happens, and it's something that the leaders are trying to work on. But it happens like unknowingly. So it happened one day. A young lady was coming from school. She was 12 years old, and she was coming from school. So when she was coming from school, I think that day she was in a boarding school, and that day they had chased her for school fees. Then she had to come back home to pick the school fees. So in the due process of walking back home, she found some young men, and then unfortunately they raped her. So when they raped her, she was afraid to come and speak it at home. She kept quiet. You know why? Because the parents, they were very, very tough from day one. So this kid feared the parents' reactions when they get to know. She feared that they will not understand it was an accident. Maybe they will blame her that she has been messing up with boys and all that. So she's bringing this as an excuse. So she decided not to tell them. She was even up what the community will say, what they will talk. So she kept quiet with a story, And then, she was very young. She didn't know what will happen next. So time passed on and time passed on. And then she got to fall sick. Yeah. When she got fall sick, they sent her back home to the parents from school that the kid is sick and she needs medical treatment. And here she comes back home, and the mother took her to the hospital. And when the mother took her to the hospital, and the doctors, of course, they immediately get to know, they're like, she has signs of a pregnant woman. And then they checked, and she was some good months pregnant, So obviously what she was fearing happened. The mother screamed and shouted her and insulted her, and she spoke all those words to this young innocent girl. So, and immediately she dragged her home to the father, and the father also started from there slapping her, telling her she was messing with boys and all that and all that. So then the news reached up the community, and every member of the community was like, everyone was now sitting their children down and telling them to avoid that girl. She's a girl who messes with boys. So she's a bad influence. She's a bad friend. She's a bad person to come close to. So they cut all the friendship, the connections the young girl had in the community. So she remained alone. And at home it was terrible. And the parents were like, you have to go and look for the father of the baby. Because she told them I was raped, and none believed the story. So they told her, I have to go and take and look for the father of the baby. You stay with the father of the baby. And then she was isolated. So, and she really passed through a hard time for all those days. And then we were in the community and we were interacting with people, but we didn't know the story. So it was too much for this young lady, to a point that we have a river in our community. It's a big river. It's a big river, so it flows. It takes the water to one big bridge. Those who know the northern part of Uganda, the Karuma Bridge. So that river takes the water to that bridge, and the bridge is big one. So the lady was ready to go and throw herself in the bridge, as in commit suicide. So before she did that, she had to come to us. We don't know what thought she had got in her brain, but she came to us. She was crying, and then because she was very young and we knew her, but we didn't know her story. And then we're like, hey, what's up? Why are you crying? And then she had this little English, because in our community, most kids don't speak English well. So she had this little English, but we could grasp it. We could understand it because we are Africans. So she started directing the story on what is happening in her life. The parents are chasing her out because she was raped, but no one is believing that she was raped. They think she was messing up with boys. So everyone doesn't want to be her friend. All parents have stopped the children to be her friend. And at home, they are not giving her food. They are starving her because it's either they want the baby out or they want her to go to the father of the baby. So they are starving her. And then everything was too much for us. And we're like, can we involve in the chairman? And then we're like, okay, I think we need to go and talk to the parents. So we went with the girl. We first talked to the girl at our home. We encouraged her, and then we had learned about this, and we applied the 3 girl. We told her to be positive. We told her what's happening. It's not true. You are still loved by some of us. We still see you, and it's an accident that happened. You shouldn't be blamed. So we encouraged her and shared the 3 Ps with her, and then later on we called them. And by God's grace, they listened to us and they gave us the chair, and we sat and discussed. The father knows some English, so the father was trying to translate to the mother and then translating to us. And then we shared with them. We told them it's something bad. Nobody wishes it for anybody, rape. So where is she going to find a husband? So we talked some sense, and it's mostly we talked 3 Ps in them, and God's grace, they accepted it. And then immediately we called for a village meeting. We sat all the village members down, and we asked them not to chase this young girl away. We shared with them. We shared the disadvantages of isolating this young lady. We shared with them the disadvantages of chasing her out and mistreating her for the unfortunate that befall on her that she never wanted. So, and then we were the first to do it. We started calling her home every day, taking her for antenatals because she had never visited the antenatal before. She was growing very well. And then we made sure she has meals. We started buying baby's clothes even without knowing the sex of the baby. We started encouraging and speaking good words over the baby and encouraging the girl and all that. And then that's how the community and the parents got up, and the parents were like, oh, we are sorry for doing this to our girl. We are really sorry. And they apologized to the girl. They got her back, and they started taking care of this pregnant young mama. And also the community, we saw the girls coming back to her and showing her love, going to fetch water together, helping her to do housework. And then guess what? After some months, she gave birth. And when she gave birth, they all came home after we had brought her from the hospital. They all came home, carried the baby, and they were all saying her congratulations. And they kept carrying that baby all the time they could come here. You see the baby, like everyone wants to carry the baby. So you find this mama is not having the baby. Like everybody wants to take care of the baby. Everybody wants to take care of her. And then sometimes some months passed on, and then the same thing happened. Like I've told you, it's really happening in our village. The same thing happened to also one of the young girls around, but this time it was a story different. They didn't treat her like the first one. That's the power of sharing. They treated this one exactly how we are meant to treat her. They never isolated her. They encouraged her. They gave her hope. And they're like, you can go back to school. Like the first one, she has already joined school. Right now, she's in senior 1. For those Africans who know, she's in senior 1. And by the time she was raped, she was in primary 6. So they encouraged her like, oh, you can go back to school. You just give birth to your baby and everything will be okay. And you're still loved. So that's the power of sharing. Yeah, because we shared and we shared, and these people perceived the sharing, and everything went on well. Until now, it's a story that everybody talks about, and it's the power of sharing. So that's the story I can tell right now about sharing, because I'm seeing it happening right now in our village, and I'm seeing how people are embracing some unfortunate things that befall on people. They really leave the negative part and concentrate on the positive part. But that's because of sharing. Also, as we learned something from it, we learned that these people, if you talk to them, they understand. They're just lacking someone to educate them about how things do move. So we also learned that we can share to them and they understand the point and they do according to what is right. So as they were learning, we are also learning something. So both parties were learning something. Yeah, that's the story I had about sharing is growing. Unfortunately, our Philip is not on, but right now I'm going to welcome anybody who has a story about sharing is growing, or who has a question, or who wants to say something about sharing is growing. Let us enjoy together this topic. Anybody with any story, anything to say, any question, you're highly welcome. Philip, you're back. Yeah, I had finished and I was requesting people who have stories and maybe questions or something to top on. So you can pick it from there, Philip. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sylvia, for sharing. I have seen Gervin is available, and Gervin has been sharing much in school, also meeting people, also in the community. Maybe Gervin, you can have. I think you have something to share about that. Gervin, are you here?
Yeah, yes, I am. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm so glad to be here one more time. This is Gervin from Nakiva Refugee Settlement, and actually, I'm so glad to be here once again. It has been a while. I'm really so happy to hear what everyone else is sharing, the stories, how the three principles have transformed the people's lives positively in the communities. It is really such a joy, and it gives us more strength and courage to keep teaching more about the three principles, because we are seeing good results which are coming out of what we are doing. So on top of that, as Philips has said, actually I was teacher at Success Roots Nursery Primary School, and I had been teaching the students at Success Roots about the three principles. As the topic of today is sharing is growing together. Actually, I can attest that it has been the same on my side. As I was sharing more about the three principles, I was also learning more from the sharings that I had been having with the students, because the more I was sharing with them, the more they could ask questions, and I take some time to reflect on the questions that they have asked, and they try to find out the answers to these questions. I saw and discovered that I was also learning from these questions, and sometimes I'd find myself in the same situations, which would sometimes be hard to go through, but I can't have someone to share with, to discuss with. But when I find myself sharing the three principles with the students, I find myself sharing with them what I'm going through and how these teachings are helping me. So it motivates the students, and they also come forward and also share similar experiences, because sometimes they would be having these experiences that they're going through, but they don't have that courage to come forward and to share what they're experiencing. Sometimes they would feel like maybe what I'm about to say is not important, or maybe it is going to be out of context. But when you as the teacher share what you're going through, they find out that okay, it means I can also share what I'm going through. And you'll find when the more they share, the more the whole class learns from one another, and the more it transforms our lives positively, all of us all together. And one of the stories that really touched my heart is when one of my students shared about the way that the young sister who was just 14 years old had to get pregnant in Nakivale Valley, and there were still newcomers in the refugee settlement. They did not yet have even a year living in the settlement, but the young sister was just 14 years old, got pregnant. And why did she share this story to us? It was because she understood how the three principles have helped her, because she was the elder one at home, and the family was looking at her as if she was the one who was hard to manage at home. They were feeling like maybe we have come here, this elder one is the one who's going to get pregnant very quickly, she's going to go in wrong ways. But with the help and the gifts of the three principles that she had been going through, she managed to manage that situation. She changed her ways and she started behaving positively, and then she has been living very well, and up to now her life has really changed positively. But unfortunately, her young sister could not afford to have these same teachings. She could not benefit from them. It was after that she became pregnant that the elder sister saw that the three principles have helped me and they are really important. So she started sharing the same with her young sister, to show that what has happened, it is not the end of the world. Even though she has gone through that situation, still she can make something out of her life, even if she has gone through that situation. Because the most difficult thing is when a child who is a minor gets pregnant. To deal with such a situation is really very hard, especially in the refugee settlements. Most of these stories align with the story that Sylvia has shared. Most of these get cast out of their homes, they get chased away. So you find they don't have anywhere else to go. So the parents see them as a disgrace to the family. So the parents don't want these children to get associated to the family anymore. So it is like a taboo. So it's like it is a big shame. So once they chase these children to go away, then you find they can't manage themselves because they don't have any experiences with life. They don't know where to run to, and then you find all of their lives become unlivable. So they live in miserable situations. So it is really tough for them to manage. But with the three principles teachings, we have seen that even parents have changed in some ways because they have come to understood how life is, and that they have to take care of these children, because sometimes it happens, it is not because they wanted. Most of them you find maybe they were lied to by their peers, just like the story of Zahara. You find many of them are lied to by their peers and these bad peer groups that they have. So they find themselves that they don't have enough knowledge or who to talk to ask questions and get clear answers. Actually, most of times when we share these stories with them, we try to put ourselves in the situation of the Zahara stories. We ask them questions, we give them some homeworks, we tell them, go and ask any elder person at your home about this. Maybe the most common question, just go and ask your parents, maybe, what is love? Most of them say, no, 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 we can't do that, we really can't. So if you ask them, why can't you do that? They tell you, like, the moment I just start asking that question, what will come as the answer will be slaps. They can't answer me. They will just start beating me seriously, telling me, how am I already talking about such things? So you find that talking about love, talking about life situations, parents, most of them don't care. They don't get that time to sit with their to sit with their children and share with them about life, how they have to behave, how they have to live life, how they have to take life situations. So you find all of these students and children, they are left on their own. So they're just left to go and ask around in the streets, maybe their peers, and you find so long as their peers don't also have experiences, so they guide them in the wrong ways. But so long as the parents sit with their children and they share with them, I think it can really be very important, and it can help these students, because most of them feel shame and fear on top of that. That, like, if we talk about life, if we talk about love, if we talk about these things, our parents are going to be mad at us. So the only thing they know, it is just only to talk about school life, how you're performing at school. That is all. So other life experiences, they don't really care. So you find it is really tough. It is becoming even tough to the school, because even the students are really dropping out a lot because of the situations that they're going through. But fortunately, the three principles have come to help alleviate that situation, whereby we have seen an increase. Like I can say, like for now, at Success Roots, students have been increasing day by day, because I can say that the three principles have played a big role in the increasement of the students in our school. Actually, for now, we have now classes which have been divided into, like primary five has been divided into. Now we have two primary fives, and all of these classes have more than 50 students in a class. So all of these are benefiting from the three principles, and they also share the same skills with others. And you find that when others hear about these skills, they feel like they are interested in these skills. They're like, so they teach you about these life skills, but in other schools, for us, we don't benefit such skills. So let us also join the school so that we can start benefiting. And you find the number is increasing day by day. It is even helping the students perform in the classroom, because before, actually, the way they were behaving, you find students could not really manage properly their thoughts, because most of them, they could be in class, yet they are absent-minded. They are thinking about the hardships that they're going through in their own lives, what they're going through at home, how to deal with parents who are alcoholic. So you find these things really disturb them. So they don't know how to deal with all of these situations. But with the skills that they get from the learnings of three principles, they've been able to manage, they've been able to see that even if I am going through this situation, still I have to know how to use my mind, how I have to use my thoughts, how I have to be conscious of the life I am living and who I want to be in the future, not to get stuck in the mind thinking about the past life, because that is also one thing that really disturbs a lot of refugees. They always think about
Excuse
the
me,
past.
excuse me, Gervin. So could you
Yes, please.
could you please try to wind up so we can give other people opportunities also share?
Absolutely. I was just going to that. So actually, we would like to say a great thanks to the whole 3P team, the 3P Africa team, for all the wonderful work that is being done. So we are seeing really positive outcomes, and we are really happy. So we are going to keep pushing and keep going forward with the teachings, because a lot of people still need to benefit from these teachings. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Gervin. Thank you, Gervin, for great sharing. Let's hear from maybe Joseph, if you have something to share. And I would like also to pose the question, how have sharing helped you grow So when you are sharing, make sure you still elaborate to us how sharing has helped you grow, or even your community, or even your neighbors, something like that. Thank you.
Sorry, Philips, is that question for me?
I was inviting Joseph first.
Yeah, thanks, Philip. Good evening and good morning, friends. This is Joseph from Adet Junior School. I know time may not be enough, but possibly starting from Philip's question in regards to how sharing has helped us grow, has personally helped me grow. Possibly this would be a topic where I would have a lot to say because I've seen a lot coming because of sharing. But basically, in a nutshell, I want to give an example. As a result of sharing and basically 3 Ps, we have seen a lot of things change, a lot of things grow. For example, myself at Adet Junior School, many times we shared a lot of things in 3 principal sessions with the Papa Jim, and we are sharing a lot of ideas. And one of the things was how to turn the negative into positive. And we opened up, shared a lot of ideas, a lot of challenges, and suggestions came into play on how this could change. And I just want to say that as a result of sharing, one of the things is when you share, you learn more. As a teacher, as a facilitator, every time you share, there is something you are going to learn. There is something you do differently. For example, at Adet Junior School, when we started sharing on 3 principles with the parents, with the children, with the fellow teachers, we have seen a lot of changes in terms of growth, the reasoning capacity of our teachers, the reasoning capacity of our children, but even the way teachers and children do things have completely changed. So sharing helps you to grow in the way you have been doing things. There are things you unlearn as a result of sharing. There are things you learn as a result of sharing. And because of this sharing, at Adet School, Kenneth will bear me witness that there are things we had to unlearn. For example, in instances of corporal punishment, how do we offer love to the children? How do we forgive ourselves? We learned a lot, and this was as a result of sharing. And then sharing gives hope. And personally, sharing has given me hope at a school level as a director. At one time, I'd lost hope. But very often when we shared some of these challenges, how to overcome challenges, there was always hope that is given at the end of it all. And you think differently. You think you can do things in a different way. It helps even to create more synergies, to grow and even get more strength. And then additionally, sharing is important because it has helped me, more especially in 3 Ps, build on my experience. One, through the sharing, I can now have techniques of even facilitating 3 sessions in the school, in the community. So sharing builds on your experience, on how you're going to do things, on how you can facilitate a session better. And lastly, it allows new ideas to come on board. Through sharing at Adet School, new ideas have come on board, and a lot of things have been sharing with Sylivia, with Jim. And before you know it, you have a new idea, actually, that can be implemented on the ground, even with minimal resources. Like, people have these ideas, but because somebody is not sharing, you cannot challenge the brains, you cannot challenge their minds. So every time you share, you get new ideas that can really solve the challenges that we face in our communities. So Philip, over to you. But ideally, sharing is growth, and personally, it has helped me to grow. It has helped the school to grow. Now the school is looking different. The picture of the school, the numbers of children have grown, because one of the things we're sharing with Papa Jim was strategies on how even to mobilize more children. And the emphasis was, can we offer the best? Can we offer love? And we have seen this turnaround. Over to you, Philip.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph. And of course, that is the way, because the more we share, the more we grow. The more you interact with the people, the more you interact with the students, the more you grow, and also the same to them. So I'm happy for what you are sharing. I think we can hear also from David Rubende, because he's also sharing the people in the community here. David, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, please. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, yes, you are clear.
Yes, thank you very much, Philips, and the entire group. And I just want to share something to see how the big principles is giving us a great impact in our community. And since we started sharing in our community, we are seeing a lot of changes. And I just want to share a short story about one of my clients called Safi Isinda. It's a woman that started coming to our teachings this last year. And she even came to me to say thank you for the sharing because it has changed my life. So this woman, Safi, she got married to a Christian family while she's a Muslim. And she was isolated by in-laws. Together with all her children, the mother-in-law did not want even to see them. Even the husband, relatives, they rejected them. So they were living in a very hard situation. But since she started listening to three principles, Safi Isinda came to me and gave a testimony that her life has changed because she has learned how to forgive and love. And she confessed that after hearing three principles, she has changed her behavior. She loved now her in-laws, and even her children have started going to meet their grandmother, and now they are living in peace because through three principles, Safi Isinda has learned how to forgive and to love others. So I'm seeing a very great impact in our community through the teachings of three principles. And it has even helped me very much because I'm growing day after day, and I have learned many things through three principles. And I see my hope is growing day after day. The love also is growing the same. And even I've learned more to be patient in life. I thank you very much, Philips, Sylvia, and the others that we are sharing the three principles. It is helping us, it is helping the community. Then I may say that God bless you for the great work you are doing.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. Thank you for sharing and also being able to grow by sharing three principles. I'm still moving with that same question to Kenneth. Then from Kenneth, we shall allow any question you may have concerning how sharing is growing. So let's hear from Kenneth. Then we'll also welcome some questions from the group. Kenneth, are you there?
For the question of Prince. Actually, if you hear me, Philip,
How
can
has
you hear
sharing
me?
helped? Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Yes, I was saying that sharing is something which has inspired. It has inspired me in a way that I have been able to get new opportunities. For example, ever since we started sharing,
Yes,
I was saying that
go ahead.
sharing helps us to inspire, to get inspired, and it also helps us create new opportunities. Just like I was citing that, saying that when we started sharing about the three principles, we had never known anything, but it is through sharing it has helped us to move with the communities, to move with the children, to change the understanding of our children, to change the understanding of the communities. And it is just only because of one thing, because we had never known how does consciousness work, how does the thought work, how does the mind work, to the positivity. And it is this sharing which supported us, which helped us to get those opportunities to know that, yes, in schools like Adet Junior School, corporal punishment is not supposed to be done in schools, but there is a way you can handle a child, and a child becomes loved in a way that she can perform to the expectation of the community, the expectation of the parent, the expectation of the teacher who is teaching him. That's what I can say for now. Back to you, Philip.
Yeah, thank you.
From it. And I'm happy that for Adeti Junior School, that's the school Joseph and Kenneth are in. I'm happy to say that at least, yes, I've seen how sharing is growing in that school. At least, yeah. So I've been given an opportunity to reach the school, and I've seen, like, the more you share, the more the children grow, and the more the teachers grow. So Joseph and Kenneth, that is a great testimony you have there about sharing is growing. And Philip, I also have a question, if you can allow me ask it anyway. So
Yeah, go
as
ahead.
we share, thank you. As we share with others, how do we know that we are growing? How can somebody not see that I'm growing in the process of sharing with others? How can I know that I'm growing? So that's my question. If anybody can answer it. Winnie, we know you're a newcomer and we are happy to see you, but you can say something. Don't leave the webinar without saying anything. And we would also love to hear from you, Winnie, to know where you're from. Yeah, maybe from Kenya or wherever. We need to hear your voice, my dear. So think about it. Stuart, you're here. So that's the question, and you guys are welcome to answer it.
Thank you. Can I go first, maybe? How do we know
Okay.
we are growing? Was it the question?
How do you know? Yeah.
Yeah, to my understanding, we know we are growing according to the life we are living in. For example, last year, I may have been having something in my mind. Maybe I wanted to accomplish it. Maybe I wanted to overcome something, but I see myself in a success route. So that shows me that I have grown in my understanding, because if I have more setback in me, then I will be held down every time. And that means I have not grown, because the growing we are talking about is understanding. What am I supposed to do? How have I been able to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, my goal? For example, as CP educators, our top goals is to make sure that we are sharing it to people, see their own beauty, for example. But are we seeing it? We are sharing it to people, but we don't see any change. Then that means there is no growth. And the growth to move to our clients should have started with us. So if we are seeing success in what we are doing, then we have grown. That could be my answer, Sylvia. I don't know whether you have.
It's okay.
Yeah, Joseph, go ahead.
I think a level that you have to let things go. For example, we have been talking about 3 principles, and forgiveness is one of the components you have always emphasized. One, ability to forgive yourself and let things go. So one way of you assessing that, yes, I have shared, I have grown, is your ability, one, to forgive others and forgive yourself. Before 3 principles, there are things that would bother people and like things on your head, you cannot forget this one, you cannot forgive this one. But because sharing is growth, you grow to a level where I say, I have to forgive myself, I have to forgive others. Even when you meet them, you are offering love and you have totally forgiven. That's a sign of growth. Both spiritual growth, physical growth, but it will help you to know, yes, where I am, I think I have reached this level where I'm supposed to be supporting others. But like Philip said, how do you assess this? There are things you did not have. There are components, abilities, qualities you didn't have. But because of this kind of sharing, for example, because of sharing 3 Ps, people who never used to offer love are doing things and offering love to others. Those are clear indicators that someone has grown. Over to Philip. Thanks.
Thank you. It is actually over to Sylvia.
Thank you so much, Joseph. I also saw David's hand up. David, if you can unmute and share with us, please.
Yes, thank you so much, Sylvia. What I can say on my side, I understand that I'm growing because of some changes. Because when I'm sharing, I'm discovering the wisdom inside me. I'm learning how to be patient. I understand many things. Even before being a member of 3P, I didn't know how to pull myself. And when I'm in a problem, my mind was up. As Harry used to say something like a pa 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 pa. But now I've learned how to keep quiet, how to find the answer in a quietness way. So this has showed me that I'm growing each and every day. It's what I can share through the changes inside me. Because I know how to quiet my mind now in all situations. And I can share with others and convince them. And also they understand that if we are dealing with any situation in a quiet mind, that is the best.
I wanted to add on something small. How do I know that I'm growing, or how do we know that we are growing in the process of sharing? You know, when you're sharing to someone, you don't expect only that someone to grow. As you're sharing to him, you also learn something and you grow in it. So how do I know that I'm growing? to me, I think it's when I start living a life of positivity. To me, like, what do I mean living a life of positivity? Like, I make sure that I'm always on the positive side, regardless of what, you know. Someone might challenge me and say, even in problems, even in chaoses, even in, I'll make sure I am on a positive side, because that is what I share with others. I can't be sharing something that I don't use or I don't apply in my life. So if I share with others to live a positive life, if I share with others to always be happy, so that means I also have to apply it. So how I know that I'm growing is when I start living a positive life in every aspect, in every corner. Like Joseph has said about forgiveness, you know, all that, forgiveness, self-love, happiness. If I start living that, and if I get issues and I know how to handle them in a positive way, I'll just know that I'm growing. But if I still get issues and then I handle them in a negative way, that means I'm still wanting more growth. I'm not yet growing. So that's what I can also add on that. Yeah. Thank you so much, Philip. So, Winnie, before I also leave, Winnie said something over here. Finally, Winnie said, sharing is growing and it is also a blessing. And Kenneth added, when we develop new skills and gain confidence and become more self-aware. So that is all about how do we notice that we are growing. Thank you so much, members. I'll take it over to Philip as we wind up. Thank you, Philip.
Yeah,